Hey, John here. Hey, I've had these things I've been thinking about lately, especially when I talk to my parents who are knocking on the door of 90, and thinking about the way things were, and listening to my dad tell stories about his childhood, and my mom as well, but specifically my dad. Back before there was television, America in the evenings would sit around the radio and you would hear things like the attacks of World War II, Pearl Harbor. You could look it up, the War of the Worlds, which was a fictitious story, but it was taken as not fictitious and caused all this turmoil. And if you can imagine growing up without television, I mean, you kids that are watching this, you can't imagine growing up without your cell phones. But even before TVs, I remember before. I'm old enough to remember before colored television, black and white. But my parents would remember before that, when it was radio. And imagine the effects that radio versus television would have over a child's imagination. The idea of like the old westerns, or um, there was a radio show called The Shadow, and it was mysterious and a detective type show, and the saying would start off, I believe, something like, "Who knows what lurks in the hearts of man?" And then it would say, "The shadow knows," with a deep laugh. And you weren't watching it on TV, you were listening to it on the radio, and your imagination would paint that picture the way you wanted to. So you became an artist. And with the introduction of television, I'm going to give you an example. When I went to school in my early days, teachers would tell you, it's because you dream something. They would say it's because you dream in black and white. And I was always confused. I was like, I've never had a black and white dream in my life. They're all in color. And I wonder, so did back before colored television, was the world more black and white? Was the imagination different before the introduction? I don't know what the answer to those questions, and that's not my point. It's just to get you thinking about what has television and movies and cell phones and digital done. How does that affect the imagination? Because it doesn't matter in your occupation whether you're an architect or you're an engineer or anything to do with creativity. It takes the imagination to be able to see something before it exists and to create it. And I just wonder, because it was during the time of radio when the Industrial Revolution was going crazy, and you went from thousands of years of, if you wanted to go somewhere, you either get in a boat that has a sail and let the wind blow you, or you get in some kind of a cart with wheels and you let an ox or a horse or something take you. And then after thousands of years, there's this industrial revolution that happens, and we have, in the last 150 years, it's just unbelievable what's happened. And we've gained so much, but have we gained everything, or have we lost something? Especially in the context of the imagination. When I was a kid, my dad would invite me basically to live the way he did, the way of the radio. Create your own fun. I mean, now kids can't do much without their, you entertain your kids by getting them a cell phone and let them play their games. When I was a kid, they had just invented Pong, which is just a little circle of light going across a dark screen back and forth, like playing tennis, but extremely slow. And it would captivate people my age. And now if you think about that, it's so minute. It doesn't take any imagination. Things have changed. Again, have they changed for the better? Have we lost something? And in particular, the imagination. And it can't be outside of an EMP or something to literally take out technology. It's not coming back. Those days are done. It's over. And even for somebody my age of watching that go, knowing that it's not returning, um, it's sad, really. And for people my parents' age, and they're getting close to the 90s, they've watched things change so much, and they've watched imaginations when they used to be pure, and fun and inviting. Those days are gone, and there's a sadness to it. And in that memory, or in that thought, when I was in school, I had in fifth grade at Adrian, Missouri, I had a school teacher named Mrs. Music, and she made us write a poem. And I think in my mind, like guys didn't write poems; it made you a sissy or something. So, but somehow I did it, and I secretly liked Mrs. Music. And I hid it for a long time that I could actually write poems. And in these later years, I've written a couple books, and I've written loads of poems lately. Not lately, I mean since high school, I've written a lot of poems. I've given it to different people at funerals. A lot of people that know me close have seen the poems. I don't keep them. I just give them away. Today I got home from church, and I was thinking about how my dad would say, when they were kids, they'd watch the radio. Watch it. I don't know if you've seen, if you want to watch like a rerun of like the Waltons or something like that, you could definitely see the impact of a whole family sitting around staring at a radio. Yet there's nothing to see but the radio. Yet you're hearing these stories of Gene Autry and the Lone Ranger and Hopalong Cassidy and Gabby Hayes and The Shadow, and all these stories that were on the radio every week, created in the mind, gave the opportunity for the mind to create that story on how you get to make what color the horse is, you get to make what outfit they have on, and what gun are they shooting, and what does the background look like, what color is their house, are they in Texas or Arizona, what is it, sagebrush? You get to do that. That's your power. That's the power that radio gave you, and it's gone. I mean, you can listen to the radio now, you can listen to music, or you can listen to talk radio, but the storytelling is gone. So I wrote this little poem, I guess you could say maybe in honor of my dad, Ron Gross, long-term pastor for years and years, but he taught us, my sisters and I, a lot. And one of the invitations he gave us was to use your imagination, and I'm thankful for it. But it does tie back to this thing right here, a radio, an old radio. So here's the poem. Let me try to get through it. It's called Watching the Radio. Watching the radio as time stands still, Gabby, king of sidekicks, Gene, Roy, and old Bill. Hopalong puts the git in the get along. Guitar cowboys rode the west to sing along. TV came with a shovel in hand to bury my radio in Neverland. Imaginations once wild and free, now lost forever as things must be. Older and wrinkles and gray, my heart is aching for the olden days. Where the radio was is just a spot on the wall. But what's that I hear? Oh, it's the cattle call. Memories are fading, but one thing's still true. We all rode together under the red, white, and blue. There you go. That's in memory of my dad. In times long gone, when your imagination kicked in with this thing, the radio. Thank you.